You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. On the other side of the line, across from Mason Smith and those guys, is where we find Charles Turner. And Turner has apparently established himself now as LSU starting center. There's going to be some big challenges ahead. And I'll be curious how he holds up. Jacoby and Guillory did talk, by the way, about Charles Turner and holding up despite his size there in the middle.
Man, me and Charles have been going at it since I was a junior in high school. He's a technician. Like, he'll see stuff before, like, anyone else even sees it. So he's like a technician. Like, being really technical, like, that's his big thing.
What so interesting about Charles Turner, of course, he came to LSU from IMG Academy. And it was stunning when he signed because, and I'm looking at his 247 profile right now, he was listed when he signed at 6'3", 245. It is not often that a high school offensive lineman weighing 245 pounds signs with a place like LSU, a major dominant college program. When Charles Turner signed, they knew he was a center, and they knew he was a project because they were going to have to put weight on him. They knew that was going to be the inevitability with Charles Turner was, hey, look, he's not coming into play right away, but get him bigger, add good weight, and get him ready to play. And he's going into year 4 now, and he still hadn't established himself as the starting center. And the last 2 years, of course, Liam Shanahan held down that role, and as a transfer from Harvard who had never played center, but Turner couldn't beat him out. And then this year, you really felt like, okay, going into his 4th season in Baton Rouge, he's got to be the guy. Like, this is the time now, because your other option is Fitzgerald West, who's a converted defensive lineman, or someone who's never played the position. And all throughout fall camp, we saw Garrett Dellinger running with the first team, which was a sort of another kind of indictment on Turner. But Dellinger had some snap issues, and he played that first game against Florida State, and they decided to make the switch back to Charles Turner. And there have absolutely been communication issues, cadence issues, let me say that, in both of his starts against Southern and then this week against Mississippi State with the procedure penalties, which is something that they've just got to fix. And maybe that's just timing, continuity reps, all that stuff. But Charles Turner, when he met with the media, talked about finally getting his shot to be LSU starting center.
Throughout this whole season, I've just been preparing as if I was a starter. Like Coach Davis has done a great job bringing guys in to, compete. It's a competitive spot now. O-line is competitive. We mess up one day, Coach Davis don't have a problem pulling you out and getting the next guy in. So competitive depth is just, something that I think about every day. So when I go out there, I just think about competing and preparing to be a starter. You know what I'm saying? Whether I'm a starter now or whether I'm not the starter next week, it don't matter. I have to prepare myself as if I am a starter.
Charles Turner, I've made this comp a lot, but his situation is a lot like Lloyd Cushenberry. Cushenberry came from Dutchtown. He was literally the last person in the class. It was like, hey, you can hold on until signing day. If we may have a spot for you, we may not. Turns out they did. He signs. He sits for 3 years. And by year 4, he was ready. He becomes the 2-year starter, gets the number 18 jersey, was drafted by Denver, starts as a rookie, and he just developed late and became a really good player and is now a starter in the NFL. Maybe that's going to be the same path for Charles Turner because their paths do align similarly. But the biggest issue they've had so far through 2 weeks with Charles Turner have been the pre-snap penalties, the cadence issues. How do they clean that up?
Just trying to communicate, maybe communicating a little bit too much. Sometimes I do have to trust the guys that I have in there with me that they'll be able to pick up everything without a call. Maybe, the time clock's running down, so I might not be able to get a call out, and I just got to go. So that'll get cleaned up. That's on me, and I just have to trust my teammates better.
The positive thing there is the recognition of what the issue is. and how to fix it. That's one of those things that with reps you would assume is fixed. Similar to, I'll give you a comp. Similar to the protection issues that got the PAT blocked at the end of the game against Florida State. We all saw the issue. You know what it is. Well, they fixed it. You could show it on film and fix it. And they have. They've been flawless there since. This is another thing that with reps, it's not physically getting beaten. It's something that you can absolutely control. You know the count. You know the snap count. You know the cadence. Just get it right. And it sounds like they're on their way to doing that. Two more from Charles Turner. The other thing was something that RC pointed out last week, as I told you about. Like the two things they thought it could prove were secondary and protection because of continuity, communication, and reps. Well, here's Charles Turner talking about continuity with this offensive line.
See, my thing about continuity is I think that no matter who's in there, we should all be able to play well together. You know what I'm saying? So continuity thing comes with us, just being around each other in the meeting rooms or even outside of football, like getting together, going out to eat, getting a feel for the guys, because it don't matter, like, it's a long season ahead of us. It's an SEC season, SEC West at that. So there's going to be different guys in there, whether we can control it or not. It's going to happen. There's going to be different guys playing different positions. So, just making sure that continuity factor sticks in the whole room and not just, only 5 or 7 guys.
The only guy so far who has started all 3 games at the same spot is Will Campbell. But we also saw the other freshman phenom, Emery Jones, start at right tackle this past week against Mississippi State and played pretty well. Here was Turner on the 2 freshmen.
It goes back to, how they started the week. You know what I'm saying? Those guys prepared throughout the whole week. It wasn't just, came game day, they didn't think they were going to start or they started. It was just like those guys prepared the whole week that way. So the way they played wasn't surprising to us or anybody in the room because, it doesn't matter who's in there. It's a competitive depth. Whoever's in there, they're going to get the job done, and that's it.
It's nice to say that whoever's in there is going to get the job done. That just hasn't been the reality for this team so far. But it seems to be with these 2 guys. Campbell's your best option at left tackle. He's going to continue to play there, obviously. And Emery Jones made a pretty big statement. I asked Brian Kelly on Monday about Emery Jones, how he did, and he said exceeded expectations. That's a pretty good indicator that he's probably going to get another go at it this week at right tackle when you welcome in New Mexico. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.